morning. Happy December 24th, and wishing you very happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I'm Amanda, Program Director here at the Senior Center in Milford, Connecticut. We have a beautiful sunny morning, and you're going to enjoy Italian cultural class with Miss Anna. Have a lovely
Thank
chat.
you. Good morning and Buon Natale, Merry Christmas. I am so happy to be right here with you. And yes, the little vision, you can see my skirt, my thing, everything. My gosh, I and I just before we go, yes, I do have all my notes because I want to make sure that I can share with you everything. But before we go into the story, I just want to say, as usual, good morning. Good morning to all my wonderful friends for this year, 2020, that I was able to share my story and my moments, my memories and everything. And so let's do again the name secretary of this group. And then we do have Virginia, then we do have Angela and Vittorio and his beautiful wife. And then there was, oh my gosh, there are so many. My mind it gets completely lost. But to all of you, thank you so much for being again together and in this very special moment of the year. This moment, 24th of December, is not just a big moment, just because we have our own memories since childhood and our parents told us what to do and that they recreate a wonderful day, a wonderful 12 days, because from now, this magic time goes until the 6th of January. So it's not just something that we are living, is our own century. This goes on, and that's why it's so magic. We almost can say since the beginning of time. And what I always want to share with you is that our experiences, around moment in the century, in the life, in the day, in the month, whatever it is, it doesn't just come because of our moment, because now it goes into the beginning. And this morning, I want to share with you how this December was always a very special moment, almost 5,000 years of research. So next time, imagine 4,000 years ago, people, our ancestors, you can say, were living these days. And probably this exactly moment, if we close our eyes, we can go back 4,000 years ago. The sky was always there, the sun was already there. Probably the view was a little bit different, but the universe around us was already formed. So there were people that resembled us, or whatever they were short. Probably they were sort of like myself, not big deal. So they live this moment in the same emotional way that we are doing. So a little difference, but I'm going to tell you. So they look at this month because whatever they did outside to produce their food, so they should not starve for the winter. Change in temperature, what things that could do few months ago, now they cannot do it. And they look at the sky and they saw always around the 21st, the 22nd of this month in December, there was a big change. And then you imagine for these people, they don't have a kind of a phone or digital information, the newspaper, whatever it is. So they look every morning before getting out from their caves or opening. They were different. And from around the 21st to 22nd, they saw like the sun stopped. The days were shorter, the nights were longer. And then somehow there was a crescendo. And then the time, the winter solstice, When the sun solstice means the sun is stopped. Okay, is stopped is stopping himself, right, in the sky. So if we go back into the Egyptians, imagine 4,000 years, because there was a story, old Isis, they kind of found the body of her husband that was killed by the brother, but she recaptured somehow all the parts of his body, and she gave a birth. There are many stories, but these stories are not just because people were cuckoo. It's because they were easy to explain to all the people, to all the population, right? So the Saurus for 12 days, and they got palms all around the home, and they would bring gifts to the ancestor. So the Egyptian always thought that there was something very special, the birth of Horus, their god, in this time that we're this week, okay? And the feast, as I said, will go on for 12 days. And then the Celtic people, they I don't know how they did it, but they built what is New Grange, which is an enormous tomb. Imagine 40 feet high, 200 and more feet large. I mean, it's an incredible. I don't know how they transported those all the stones and everything, right? Imagine this one. But the beautiful thing about this incredible tomb dedicated to the ancestors is that winter solstice. So there is a hole on top of this big construction. Okay, this is a mountain, right? There is a hole, and the winter solstice, the sun for 17 minutes only. What magic time! Because they thought in this very magic moment of the winter solstice, there was this kind of presence from the sun, because all the thing around them, the sun, the moon, Mother Earth, and everything, they were very gods. They were symbol, because that's where they came. Everything for their life, their nourishment, and everything was from them. And naturally, they had to be very important. So only for 17 minutes, the light of sun goes inside this hole and illuminates New Grange in Ireland. From this was built 3,200 years ago. And this was from the Celtic people, from the moment of this winter to a new year. But it was a moment to grow into. And they were having, all their feasts, the new fire for the winter. So their soul was open to this renew. It was a big time. It was changing. They were renovating themselves for something better, something more positive, something totally new. So that is the beautiful things, okay? So the Egyptian had this spiritual momentum, the Celtic people had this spiritual momentum. Then we go around into the world of the time. We're still very in the past, right? And we go to the Greece, okay? Greece had a little bit different relationship. What everybody else was really, very meditating and very personal. Why don't we have a good time? This is, yes, is a change. There is a renew. There is something ahead of us. But because for them, the gods were in their own mountain, the Olympus, why don't we give it to ourselves a good time? That let's enjoy life. So they were dividing themselves into groups, men on one side, the women on the other side, and they were having the greatest time ever. So, drinking and enjoy themselves, but they were not together. But there was really a good time. Too much praying, it was Greece. So the great time in Greece. Then we come along, so we start, growing into the century, right? And now the Romans living every nature the universe in this great moment of the winter solstice, right? So they had two very special moments. The first one, you can say, before Rome became dedicated to Saturno in Italiano. And Saturno, it was the god of fertility. It was a very good father god that was taking care all the fields, all the people. And so they were kind of, with this feast, they were paying respect to this good father figure. This feast, as I said, will call Saturnalia, and they will go on from the 17th of December until the 23rd. In this special time for a week, I mean, give it to the Romans, right? They were having banquet, celebration, and it was such a huge feast that all the slaves would be sitting down at the table as their owners would be serving them. I mean, talk about a big change because this week it was considered the week for peace, for understanding each other, for helping each other. So they were giving to each other gifts. Those gifts were called strenna, dedicated to the okay, the goddess Strenna. A little parenthesis. In Italy, till today, the gift that you give it to each other during the Christmas time are called strenna. I don't know if many people realize that this expression comes from the older, very old expression from more than 2,000 years ago. So going back to the Romans, so the Saturnalia was a moment to celebrate peace. So keep in mind, since the beginning, the Egyptian, the Celtic, the Greeks, the Romans, is one feeling, one common emotion in all of these. Pay respect to the world around us and make sure you're paying respect in a moment for a week, for a timing, whatever, 12 days, a month, whatever it was, with all your human friends and non-friends, with humanity, with the tribe around, with your own group, with your own little uh, town. Okay, so everybody they were being together. So far, all these different section in the world that of the time, it was this common emotion, feeling, behavior to be in peace. That's it. So after the Saturnalia, after the Roman became an empire, there was the Emperor Aureliano that he followed a religion that came from the Middle East and it was dedicated to the god Mitra. Mitra was the god of sun, representing the sun. And this, so he celebrates, the presence of the sun. In this religion, the feast will be called Sol Invicti Natalis, the birth of the sun, the winner. So it was kind of just a group of men. They would be, the way they practice this religion, they would be kind of in places, in caves, underneath and not outside temples. And their own, you can say macho presence, right? So the Emperor Aureliano did this, started, yes, the word Saturnalia, but it started really almost the veneration of the power of the sun. Okay, so it was so invicti, presence of the sun that regulates the world. With his presence, we could have a life on this earth. Okay, so it's getting a little bit more majestic. But before they celebrate, yes, the sun and Mother Nature and everything, but it gets a little bit more level, okay, around. Now with Aureliano, we have this incredible, powerful is the sun, okay? And again, the celebration of humanity. Okay, after all this, there is this new form of religion, which we call it today Christianity. So this man from Judea was going around and saying that there was a religion based on love, an undistinguished love. And for that love, he kind of died, kind of really present to reassure that what he was saying was not just words, but was the reality. And he died for it. And so he started what we call Christianity. So now the world was still following the pagan times. Remember, the name pagans means a person that doesn't live in the city. Okay, there is nothing bad, an accusation or whatever, just a different type of living. So they were start creating a new way of thinking. So there was this respectful way of seeing the nature, Mother Nature. Then there was this new form of saying, but we can pay respect, and not just to Mother Nature, but who created Mother Nature. There is a little bit more of a contact, a communication with something that comes from within us, not just the forms or the expressions of nature. So Christianity started growing and growing, and a lot more people, almost the world of the time, was following this new religion because it was based on, yes, respect the nature, but then respect humanity. It was personal, right? From within. And so in 350 AD, the Pope by that time, this Christianity got, form into a hierarchic way, and this was a pope, okay, he established that the birth of Christ is going to be the 25th of December. We don't know when Jesus was born, so he kind of, and I think many people criticize and they don't know about the birth of Jesus, the birth of Christ. I think it's a beautiful kind of a continuation from the pagan times that they pay respect to nature all around them until Christianity came. And there is this manifestation, you can say Nativity is a manifestation of the God into our world. So what better, what beautiful change this is making from their desire of the people before that we can call pagans, before Christianity, that they were respecting Mother Nature to the moment when this expression of love, this desire for peace came about the present and the birth and the coming of Jesus. So there is no interruption. What before was a desire, then after became a real thing. So we have a date today, the 25th of December, when we kind of put the birth of Jesus as the continuation for this magic way. Is the birth of Jesus, which means it's not just probably was born in August for that matter, but it doesn't matter. Is the birth, as all ancestors did, for having something within, something new within our side, a desire for love and peace. So there is, in fact, a beautiful, somebody wrote about this, and I don't know, yes, I wrote that down because it's so beautiful. Guys, excuse me about my accent, but listen what they say about this moment. When the light of the older sun is the faintest, and his warmth the fabulous, sorry for the accent. Now is the time when the soul withdraws into the darkness, but can find within itself the inner spiritual light. So this is the moment when now we found our best time, the magic time of Christmas. This magic time of Christmas comes in a very with traditions. So the traditions are over the centuries were to have to express this moment of renewal, this moment of peace, had the symbol. And one of the greatest symbols is the Christmas tree. Why the Christmas? Because the Christmas tree. Because if you remember your Bible, the story of the Bible starts with the tree of knowledge. Adam and Eve, they were not next to a mountain, they were not next to a bush, they were not next to whatever. They could not touch the tree, tree of knowledge. So since the beginning of time, tree represents all the time this union between earth and sky. I mean, a tree, I love trees. A tree can survive. Do you know that in Sicily there is a chestnut tree next to the Mount Etna that is 1,000 years old? Imagine how much energy is infused. He saw we cannot, to read the story of 1,000 years, we have to read so many books, but all the infusions, all the energies are within this tree. What incredible miracle. So, because of these trees, and because they live so long, the people from the beginning of time, they give it a very special reality, a very special symbolic, really, presence. In fact, every tree is representing, for example, an oak tree is courage. A cypress is usually around the cemetery because it means eternity. A cherry tree on Worcester Square in New Haven is love, okay, connection among people. So everyone has a special symbol. And so for this moment for Christmas is the evergreen tree that will never has, although the trees are losing their leaves and everything, then there is this tree that stands up glorious in his presence, like it's defeating the winter, defeating the temperature. So what better way to bring this tree into the homes? In fact, in the past, it was not so much the decoration, at least in northern part of Germany, addition to you get a tree, the base of a tree, you cut in pieces and you bring inside the house, and that piece of the branch or the part of the tree had to be lit for 12 days. So imagine how big was in the fireplace, because it was a symbol, it was a blessing for the family. Because the family, after that big piece of wood would burn out in the 6th of January, they will collect all the ashes, and they will put it over the field to kind of, not just the fertilizer, by the way, it's a great fertilizer, okay, but to bless. So it was a piece of that ashes, that burned wood under the bed to make sure that the year was a good, healthy year for the family members. So it was a very important. So the decoration came later. And you know who gave out the idea to decorate these trees and not just burn in the fireplace? It was Queen Victoria. Her husband was from Germany, so he brought this symbolic, respecting feelings for the trees during the month, during this month, Christmas time. And so from London, from the room of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, they kind of went all over to decorate this tree, which became a symbol for the Christmas tree. So this too is started the symbol again of this moment of peace. It started from a long time ago when the pagans were respecting Mother Nature, and from Christianity, it kind of came from this old tradition, and it was kind of a little bit decorated and made a little bit more attractive, if you can say it, but it's nothing new. Was already in the soul, in the mind of a very, very, very long ago ancestor, has a tree as a connection from earth into the sky. To symbolize our desire to live this very magic. Another way in Italy to represent this very magic moment is through a nativity set. Oh, it's called il presepe. And you know what? I have it with me, and I want to show you a very special presepe. I have to be very careful, okay? Because this is a 70 years old rendition of presepe. Listen to this one. I brought this with me and I'm very careful because it's falling apart, but I want to show you. This comes, see, this is it. Let me put this back together because these little people really are falling apart. This is Saint Joseph, okay? See Saint Joseph, and we put him next over here. Then there is the Virgin Mary, okay? See how pretty she is. Then there is there is a sheep over here. She is nice and friendly. And then, oh, let me see over here. There is over here. There is another the friend that came along. Okay, the shepherd. And let me see. Where is my Jesus? Where is the baby? Okay, the baby fall apart over here. Well, that is another sheep. Okay, let me find, oh, it's here on a chair. Okay, I forgot it. And then there is the baby Jesus. So what is beautiful special thing? The Nativity Presepe. It belongs to my husband's family. So this is probably 70, 80 years old. That the family got it. They were my husband, the mom came from Syracuse, Sicily. The father was from Poland. They had just one child. My mother-in-law was a little bit more delicate. She would have loved more children, but that was that. So they wanted to. They were born here. The grandparents, their parents. So my husband's grandparents came from Sicily and Poland. But they wanted to remember the traditions, the Italian tradition. So every year, this was their nativity rendition, what's it called in Italian, il presepe. And I wanted to, as I said, it's falling apart and I have to be very careful. But this is our symbol of Christmas. Christmas, it doesn't start unless we are presenting this to our grandchildren. And then there is so this is the baby Jesus, right? But then the most beautiful things is that in the back, let me see, I don't know if I can take it out, but there is my grandson, Rocco, that design. Did you see there is a piece of paper in the back right there with the drawings of the baby Jesus? All right, that was my grandson, Rocco, of 5 years old, designed that. So that is in back of the little the little baby Jesus that he put it there. So all these are going, it's a little bit almost very special momentum from Christmas. And I'm going to put it down on the chair because I'm afraid I don't want to start ruining this beautiful thing that is 80 years old. Okay, so we put it there. Okay, now it's safe. What I'm going to tell you that this, why the Italians are so close for having in the house of this nativity, is because it started in Umbria. Okay, and in Umbria, and that was around the 1220, something like that. Francesco, which later became Saint Francis of Assisi, my place, went to Jerusalem. And he had a wonderful, for 1 week, he stayed there 1 year, but he was able to have a 1 week, a kind of conversation meeting with the Sultan. And that for him, it was very special. In fact, he came back to Rome and he said to the Pope, can we have the K letter in our alphabet? Can we use some, in fact, the rosary? He kind of transported that into the Italian, to the Vatican, into Christianity, because they in the Middle East, the Muslims, they have all those beats, continuously. I don't know if they're 99 to have their meditation. And so he started the rosary. He started to say pace e bene, the kind of greeting among people, peace and love, from that moment in Jerusalem. And when he came back on the first Christmas, he was near Assisi, nine Assisi, in vicino Roma, near Rome. And it was in a little town, and he wanted to recreate a very special night. So he found a woman that just had the baby. So this woman with the husband and the baby, they were not in the church, but outside the church. And he wanted to recreate the nativity of Jesus. So from that moment on, in Italy, it is very special. You cannot have a Christmas without having in the house a nativity scene. I don't know now because usually we don't go to Italy in the winter because it will be too cold. So I'm not aware, but how they are doing it. But I remember when I was a kid. Okay, it was a long time ago. What can I tell you? But we will have there was no Christmas without nativity scene. And the family, they will be so into it that they will clean up a room. And this nativity scene, it was not just what my husband's family did. It was just a little la grotta, the little capana, the cave, or whatever you wanted to call. It was the whole room. I mean, they put the three, four tables all together and they recreated Jerusalem, Bethlehem at the time. There was the sun and there was the moon and there were the stars and then all the little people working, thousands of artisans working, and there was the lake and there was the mountain and there was the river. I mean, it was unbelievable. And the tradition was on Christmas Day, okay, because there is a proverb, Natale con i tuoi, Pasqua con chi vuoi, Christmas within your family. For Easter, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. So on Christmas Day, after having the big dinner with the family, you will go to all the churches in town and you will visit all these presepi, nativity, which they were enormous. And you were there, I remember our adults too, not just children. There was naturally a gate and you could not touch anything, which was very difficult for the Italians. And you were looking at those probably thousands of little miniature, the little people working from the baker men, from the everything, the farmers, the mama that was washing the clothes in the river, the shepherd. I mean, you just imagine all thousand, and those all these statuette, if you can say, they're all the center, the production. It then came from made in China. It was made in Napoli. Napoli, it was the center for creativity, and still today, this statuette, there is a street in the heart of Napoli that creates all these different statuette with thousand of jobs. It's not just the little, even the guy that makes the paper. I mean, it just the creativity went incredible in every type of forms of job, right? So the Christmas tree and the nativity set are the symbol, the expression of this incredible magic time. So since the beginning, we saw it this morning, or 4,000 years ago, all the humanity was directing all their attention towards a very special, you can say, spiritual moment to thank all Mother Nature and the gods for this moment of separation between the old and something new that was coming. So this was the moment to reflect and think and to get ready because something positive was coming along. And this started probably for 3,000. Then Christianity came. And this Christianity kind of gave a face to this desire. Okay, so there is nothing against each other. It's just a beautiful continuation, a beautiful manifestation, representation of this moment for this moment of this manifestation for love and peace. We got the symbol for everyday presentation, which are the Christmas tree and the Nativity Center, and to give it to each other the gift, okay, which is spread. So, what I want to express, and naturally there is the food too, because nothing, the vigil on the 24th, which is today, God forbid you don't eat meat, but you have to have the fish. Some region you have to have 7 different types, some 13, depending your area. But this one too comes because it started the 15th of November. There were 40 days to get ready for Christmas. Okay, so this moment of really preparing yourself. See, everything from the past, they're not just a moment of one here or one there. They're all connected. There is a wonderful chain, an invisible chain that connects all those events. These 40 days and tomorrow will be the last day of this moment that you prepare yourself. It culminates tomorrow night at 12 o'clock when there is this incredible explosion of joy, which is not just an explosion of how many gifts you had. Sometimes we should never lose ourselves in this commercial way of seeing and looking at Christmas as more of a renew for yourself. So, what does this mean? What my wish to you is let's be together in looking at this moment as a moment of continuity for our own best desire. We are just a human being, so we are not good, we're not bad, we just have many forms of expressing yourself. Sometimes you feel a little bit more down, so you have you express yourself with one color. Sometimes you feel a little better, so your color will be different. But as long as we do as our very, very, very long ago ancestor did, or our modern time, the most important thing is to feel for each other love and respect. So with that message, I hope to see you again, to always continue to see you again. And I want to say Merry Christmas. Buon Natale for everyone. Buon Natale to everyone. And I say thank you so much for following me. God bless you. And I hope one day to there is probably a way that we can chat and kind of express our feelings. God bless you. Thank you over and over again for being together. And let's not rely on those pandemic of now because that's a what passed. Just at this moment, they're like any other time, any other virus over the millenniums, they come and goes. But we need to be strong and to believe that there is always tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be very special because tomorrow is going to be Natale. It's going to be Christmas. Buon Natale. God bless you. And from tomorrow, stop your Quaresima and have the best food ever. God bless you.